Yo, what's up, fam? What's up? Welcome. Monday Manna. We're back. We are back. Listen, I'm so excited to be back, y'all. Another week of Monday Manna. So excited. Grab your friends, invite somebody, invite your five back to Monday Manna. We are here for another amazing week, another amazing installment of Monday Man. I believe it's week 7, which is crazy. It's been 7 weeks, y'all. I can't believe it's been 7 weeks. And I've been really just growing personally from our conversations together. Listen, come on in. I'm excited, man. Another week together. It's gift giving season. It's December, another month, a fresh start to the month. Fresh start to the month. We're excited, man, for y'all to be on. Come on in. So excited to have y'all tonight. Another Monday Manna. It's about to go down. I'm excited. Bring your five in, man. Come on in. Join the table. Monday Manna, week 7. Monday Manna. So excited, man. Listen, as you guys know, before we get started, got some table rules. Got some table rules for y'all as y'all come in. Some table rules. Remember to bring your five if you haven't already. Bring five, invite five people to the Monday Manna Live space so they can grow in this conversation today. We want you to share the manna. Share the manna. Share. Don't hold all of this goodness to yourself. I believe that something tonight is going to be monumental for your life. Something tonight is going to be monumental for your growth. Something tonight is going to be amazing for you individually, just to focus and on what God has for you and what He's called you to do in this season of your life. We're going to give it a few more minutes. If you're not a part of the Facebook group, join the Facebook group where we share. I'll be uploading a few devotionals this week. I'm excited about what God is going to do in this space on Monday Manna. So share as you come on in. Say hi. Don't be shy. Let me know you're in here. Don't forget to share. Bring five. And if you haven't already, invite somebody to join our Facebook group on tonight. I'm so excited to be back. Last week I took some rest to pray and kind of get some R&R. And I'm excited. I'm recharged, y'all. I'm recharged tonight. I believe that some biz gonna happen tonight, man. That believe we're all gonna grow from this conversation. I'm gonna try to be as candid as possible. Something that's been on my heart this week. So I'm excited to have y'all on tonight on Monday Manna. Again, table rules tonight before we get into it. Y'all know what it is. Bring your five. Bring your five. Invite five people to share in this space of growth with us tonight. Don't forget to bring your five. Also, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe to our emails by following the link. Simply follow that link to subscribe to our email so you can get the devotionals. You can get kind of a heads up on things. I will be very active on through our Monday Manna subscriptions. There's some exclusive content that will come through that space, so you don't want to miss Manna to Go. Manna to Go is going to be amazing. Something that hopefully you can also share with other people and evangelize as well. If you haven't already, like I said before, join our Facebook group. Join the Facebook group. That's where we get prayer requests, which where we check on each other. That's where we kind of dive in deeper. That's where we answer any of your questions that you may have related to what we discuss in this space on tonight. I'm also excited to be back. And if you hear something tonight, if you hear something said that touches your heart, join the conversation. Don't be afraid to jump into the comments, say that part. We don't say amen at Monday Manna. We say that part. If something touches you, something hits you different, don't be shy. Say that part to let the world know that something has been said that has touched and something that they need to pay attention to as we join the conversation. Well, let's get right into it. I'm not gonna waste your time. It's 5 minutes in. Let's go right into it. Previous recipe, what we've been previous. This series has all about stewardship. We've been talking about for the past 3 weeks. Our focus has been on stewardship. Our focus has been on how do I be a good steward of myself? How do I be a good steward of my heart? How do I be a good steward of other people? We focused on stewarding your heart. How do you protect your heart? How do you make sure that you are a good steward? When I say steward, what we're saying is, how do you take care of your heart? How do you take care of yourself? How do you take care of other people? One of the topics that we felt was close to stewarding your heart is forgiveness. And oftentimes, when we're talking about maintaining relationships, it's hard to maintain relationships without traveling through the path of forgiveness. Forgiveness is key. Last time we met, we discovered that forgiveness has a few requirements. If you're going to really travel down the path of forgiveness, it has a few requirements that require some intentionality. Forgiveness requires renovation. Renovation. You gotta renovate your mind, renovate your heart, renovate your perspective. You may have to change the way you see things in order to truly walk into a path of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not easy. Forgiveness often takes a change in your perspective. It takes you taking a commitment to renovate how you see things and how you see other people, to really walk down the path of forgiveness. We said forgiveness is not something for the weak at heart. Forgiveness requires maturity. You got to be mature. You got to be mature. I know I got a few witnesses out there that can say, when you walk down the path of forgiveness, you truly have walked down a path of maturity. I know it to be true for myself. And lastly, we said forgiveness requires grace. In order, if you are a benefit of God's grace, how dare you hold it from somebody else? And you exhibit the grace of God through your commitment to forgiving other people. So forgiveness requires renovation, maturity, and forgiveness requires grace. We all benefit from God's grace, and we all should not count it robbery to withhold it from someone else. You ought to be willing to give grace to other people because God gave grace to you. So forgiveness requires grace. Not only we discovered that forgiveness has requirements, we said that forgiveness comes with a few benefits. There's a few benefits that these benefits had me ready to run around my office. The first benefit, we said, forgiveness actually qualifies you for complete forgiveness and fellowship with God. God desires complete fellowship with you. And there's this thing called sanctification, where we are dying daily to ourselves in order to walk in full fellowship with God. That requires repentance, and that requires you to be forgiven of Him daily. And Jesus implies that you hinder your fellowship with God when you don't walk down a path of forgiveness. And I don't know about you. I don't want nobody getting in the way of me and God. I don't care who you are. I don't want nobody getting in the way of what God has for me. That is too much power to give to anybody. But forgiveness positions and qualifies you for complete fellowship and forgiveness with God. You grow closer to God through your commitment to forgiving others. We also said this. We stay right here for a little while. This next one, we said forgiveness prepares you for certain tables. Buddy, if you want to be prepared for the tables that He prepares for you in the presence of your enemies, if you want to be able to handle that table, you got to travel down the path of forgiveness. You can't possibly expect yourself to handle the table that He prepares for you in the presence of your enemies if you still letting your enemies have the control over your mind. Woo! Forgiveness, we said, positions you and prepares you for certain tables. Can I tell you what some of those tables are? One of the tables that forgiveness prepares you for is toxic tables. Ooh, toxic tables are tables that are hard to sit at. One of the toxic tables we talked about was Jesus sitting at the table with Judas and Peter. He was sitting with a betrayer, and he was sitting with someone who would deny His very existence after walking with Him. And I don't know about you, some of the tables that life puts us at is a little tough, because we may find ourselves at tables with people who know us but act like they don't know us. Ooh, have you ever been there? Where you've been with some people that would literally, you walk with them, they were close to your heart, and in certain situations they act like they didn't know you at all. And you have to sit at the table with some of them people. That's a toxic table. Ooh, and forgiveness prepares you to walk with people who may deny your possibilities and your potential. I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but if you have you ever been in a situation where you thought somebody had your back? Thought somebody understood your potential, only for them to be put in certain situations to deny who you are? That's tough. That's tough to be around people who know your potential, know your destiny, or should know it, and act like they don't know it. That was Peter. and and Jesus knew it and had to sit at the table with him. And he expects us to sit at those same tables in our path to embracing all that God has for us. And you cannot possibly believe that everybody's going to believe in your dreams. I don't know why I'm lingering here, but I want to encourage somebody. Don't expect everybody to believe in who you are and your potential. And you can only handle that when you travel down the path of forgiveness. Don't let a grudge stifle your potential. Did you hear what I just said? I said, don't let a grudge or someone's limited perspective limit your potential and your perspective. I don't want to give nobody all that power. Hello, hello, hello. Are y'all in here? I don't want to give nobody that power. You don't have to believe in me for me to believe in myself. I don't care who you are. I don't know who this is for, but this is what I live by. My ambition does not require your permission. My ambition, my dreams, my destiny, my confidence in who I am does not require you to agree. You don't have to like me, but you will respect my work ethic. You don't have to like me, but you will respect my confidence. You don't have to like me, but you will respect my consistency. My ambition does not require you to agree with me. And you can only get there, y'all, if you travel down the path of forgiveness. So forgiveness helps you be prepared for certain tables with your enemies, tables with doubters, tables with people who may betray you, literally portray you, literally turn their back on you, literally put you in compromising positions. Forgiveness helps you handle those situations because you take the power from the other individual. And it prepares you for opportunity. It prepares you for leadership. That's enough on that. So that was the previous recipe. The devotionals this week will come from that. We will wrap up the stewardship series, and I will put, if you're a member of the Facebook group, you'll see guides that will come out, which are basically the show notes, basically the notes, my notes and my thoughts from the previous episodes and series. So you'll see that rolling out this week. So please pay attention. Please share. Please use this as an opportunity to evangelize those that are around you in your community. Don't hold all this good eating to yourself, y'all. All right. So let's set the table, y'all. Let's set the table for this week. Let's set the table. I am speaking about this topic from a very vulnerable place. This is a lesson for me that I'm still learning. I'm still growing in. I'm still understanding. I'm still understanding how to operate in. I'm still understanding how to maneuver in. I'm still understanding how to be confident in this topic. But my first question tonight is, what are your gifts? What are your gifts? See, we're in a season of gift giving. We're in a season of gift giving where we are giving a lot of tangible gifts. And this is a good time for you to assess what intangible things about who you are has God called you to give. What are your gifts? You're not here by accident. Your existence here on earth as a believer, if you are a believer, is not by accident. God has some unique gifts in your life to help other people. What are your gifts? Here's another question to help you think about that. How do people benefit from being around you? How do people benefit from being in your presence? What is it that you bring to the spaces in your life? What do you bring to the people around you? What things do people say, girl, only you could do that? What are some things that people are constantly bringing up around what you're doing? What are some things that people say, man, if you hadn't stepped in, this wouldn't have happened? What is that one thing that people know when you walk in the room, and that's the problem that you're going to be able to offer a solution? What is it? Now, let me park right there to encourage somebody. Ooh, it's already getting messy. I'm trying to get through the table, and God's already messing with me. I want to encourage somebody that you are valuable. One of the hardest one of the toughest reasons why some of you can't answer this question is because you think you're living by accident. And I
Mm.
just want to park right there to say your life has benefits. Who you are touching somebody. You are helping somebody. You are valuable. God spent innumerable amount of energy making you to be who you are because he knew only you could solve certain issues in this world. So as I ask these questions, don't go back and apologize or undermine in your mind who you are. I just want you to know you do have gifts. You are valuable. And we'll get into some of the reasons why you're probably doubting who you are in the seasons of your life. Because this is one of those tough, it sounds like an easy topic, but it's actually a tough topic because of the situations that we often find ourselves in where we're trying to look like everybody else. I just want to let you know there's somebody in your life benefiting from who you are. I don't care who you are. I don't care how small you think the impact is. There's somebody around you benefiting from your very presence and your consistency. And I want you to be intentional about understanding that tonight. And I want you to open yourself up to having a conversation, if you are a believer, with the Holy Spirit tonight to reveal what is it that God is trying to pull out of you to give to other people in this season of your life? And to do this, I'm telling you, y'all, to get through this lesson, you're going to have to fight through some insecurities that other people have placed on your life. How many know that some of the reasons why some of us can't serve consistently is because we are constantly letting people question our potential. And I want to free you from some of that criticism and some of that insecurities and some of those expectations that other people are placing on you and give you the opportunity to discover the things and the gifts that God has for you for yourself. It's nothing like discovering God's gifts that he's placed inside of you by yourself. It's nothing like soberly approaching this topic without everybody's expectation, just having an honest conversation with God. That's what I want you to do tonight as we set this table. So, how do people benefit from being around you? The next question is a little deep, but it's not supposed to be. But I want you to really think about this. What fingerprint are you leaving the community and the world? It when it, if you walked out of your job tomorrow, what would they say they were missing? Hmm? If you left that commitment or that organization tomorrow, what would they say that only you could bring? If you stop being around that certain community, what would they say? Man, Lord, we miss this. What fingerprint are you leaving the community and the world?Maybe you're not leaving a fingerprint because you don't think you can. And that's the issue that I want to uncover tonight. I'm slick approaching this topic of I'm researching it, so we might not go into depth this week, but I think there's a lot of us struggling with imposter syndrome. By that I mean we go into situations and we immediately second guess our ability to be impactful. I want to free you from that tonight. I don't. I want you to fully embrace the gifts inside of you. You are gifted, and I want to unlock some of that confidence and free you from some of the hurt that you may have experienced from the last time you really honed in on your giftedness. I'm telling you something. You a bad sister. You a bad brother, homie. You got this, and I just want to encourage you as we talk about this. But the question is, what fingerprint are you leaving the community and the world? All of us, and I'm going to show you, are called to leave some type of fingerprint or footprint in this earth realm that only you could do. All of us have some level of significance, and I want you to really think through this tonight of what the fingerprint you're bringing to the spaces that you are in looks like. What does that look like? What you should walk in those spaces, in those rooms, confident in the unique fingerprint that you're leaving. Maybe you're too busy looking at other people's fingerprints. I know how to catch myself sometimes. All of us have unique fingerprints that identify us. But one thing we can't do is waste time looking at everybody else's fingers. Your fingerprint is different, and you got to embrace the difference in your fingerprint. And the last question is real simple. Last question as we set the table: do you know your gifts? Do you really know them? We started with what are your gifts. We're ending as we set the table. Well, do you know your gifts? Do you know your gifts? Honest question. Write that down. If you got a pen and paper tonight, write that down. Do you know your gifts? Do you truly know what it means to have a gift? Do you know what they are? Are you cultivating those gifts? I'm gonna tell you right now, if you hadn't had this conversation all year and it's December, it's a good time to have it. If you haven't had this conversation, then you probably don't know your gifts. And what that tells me is that you're going through the motion of trying to live out everybody's expectation for your life instead of establishing your own. And that may be the source of your anxiety. When you know your gifts, it's almost like a filter. It's a filter. The gifts that when you discover your giftedness, it acts as a filter from other people's expectations. Did y'all hear what I just said? Let me say that again. When you know your gifts, it is easier to filter other people's expectations. Because when you know your gifts, guess what? You know your lane. You know the lane that God has uniquely designed for your life. And when you know your lane, it's easier to get out of everybody else's. And I want to free somebody tonight. Maybe you don't have no peace in the areas that you're serving, just because that's not the lane you're supposed to be in. Maybe you have no peace because that's not the community that is called to cultivate the gifts inside of you. Maybe you have no peace because they don't respect and appreciate your gifts. Why continue to serve in communities and spaces that don't cultivate the gifts inside of you? We're going to talk about that tonight. And I want to give yourself freedom. In 2024, you need to release yourself from all the lanes that God has not called you to. Mm. Whoo! It's December, so it's a good time to write them out. It's December, so it's a good time. It's a good time. It's a good time. Don't start 2024 placing resolutions on things that you are not called to fix. Don't go into 2024 praying for things God never called you to. Hello, hello. I can tell you now, I've been there. And you can spend months and you'll be in June trying to cultivate something that may already be dead. I'm freeing you tonight, trying to give you clarity because you need to discover the lanes that God has called you to in this season of your. You don't have time to continue to waste your gifts, your talents, and your energy on spaces and things that you are not called to. Did you hear what I just said? I said, you don't have time in this season of your life to waste time and energy and your talents and your gifts on spaces, things, and people and commitments that you are not called to. God has uniquely tailor fit the spaces that are called to cultivate the gifts in your life. And I just want you to embrace that tonight. So, what's on the menu? What's on the menu? What's on the menu tonight, y'all? What's on the menu? What's on the menu tonight is recipe. It's a recipe for how to handle your gifts. That's it. That's the recipe focus tonight. Tonight, I want to spend the next few moments on a few principles and things on how to handle your gifts. Here's what charged me in my studies. It is hard being gifted. Mm, I mean, I'm telling you, if you regular and you not trying to do nothing, ain't nobody messing with you. But don't mess around and embrace your gifts. Don't mess around and embrace doing what God's called you to do and really being all that God. That's when it gets Dolby Digital. That's when it gets 4K. That's when it gets real. Is when you make up your mind to be gifted and own your dopeness and who all you're called to be. That's when it gets real because it gets tough. That's when the enemy tries to come at you in certain ways because you're embracing your gift and all you're called to be. I'm telling you, y'all, it is hard being gifted. And I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Some of you had some tough situations this year only because you try to keep serving. It's December, and I just want to take a minute to tell you, I appreciate you. If ain't nobody else told you how much they appreciate all you're giving, let me hear it from me. I appreciate you. I appreciate your consistency. I appreciate you maintaining focus. I appreciate you showing up when the people that said they were going to show up didn't show up. I appreciate you when the people that said they were going to be there for you didn't show up. I appreciate you when they didn't appreciate all that you were given. I appreciate you, and God appreciates you. God sees you. God honors you. God is honoring your commitment. I believe in 2024, some of you are going to reap a harvest from your consistency. And God is fully aware of the level of challenge that has come with some of you embracing your giftedness. Everybody can't handle your giftedness, and some people can't handle their gifts because they so caught up in yours. Ooh, did you hear what I just said? I said some of the flack you getting right now is because they can't handle the gifts they got, so they all wrapped up in yours. It ain't got nothing to do with you saying something a certain way. It ain't got nothing to do with what you didn't or didn't do, or what you did, or how it ain't got. It's just because they are hung up on your audacity to embrace who you are. Some people just don't like the fact that you are embracing who you are in this season of your life. And guess what, child? It ain't nothing you can do about it. It ain't nothing you can do about how people respond to you. What you can do though, in your own lane, is keep on pushing. You can't control their response, but you can control how you respond. And I want you to be consistent tonight. So that on the menu is how to handle, really how to handle being gifted. I believe tonight I'm speaking to some creatives tonight. I believe this is going to reach some creatives, and I don't want you to miss out on the big opportunity because you couldn't be consistent, because you allowed other people to cause you to second guess your creativity and your giftedness. If the box doesn't fit, it just doesn't fit, child. Don't force your gifts into boxes that don't fit. Hello, y'all hear me tonight? Do y'all hear me tonight? I just want to encourage, because I feel like around through here in this season, when we hit the December, especially with us that's been serving all year consistently, and I ain't talking to y'all that been in and out. I'm talking to people that's been serving consistently. You hit this path, you hit this empath around November, December, and you're tired, and then you start to question, is this really worth it? Do I really want to go into 2024 doing this? Do I really want to stay committed? Do they see my service? Do I really want to give another year to this? Is it worth my time? And I want to tell you, your labor, hear what I'm saying, your labor is not in vain. Your labor is not in vain. I know it hurts. I know, I know they get on the tip of your last nerves. I know they don't always understand. But I want to encourage you. Your labor is not in vain. Don't faint. Don't faint. Don't faint. You're too close to the harvest. Don't faint. And that's the reason we're having this conversation, because God wants you to handle the harvest of opportunity that is going to come from you embracing the gifts on your life. And I just want to encourage you, keep going. Keep going. Don't faint. Don't faint. Here we go. So, first part of the recipe. If you're going to handle the gifts in your life, the first thing you got to do, first thing I'm saying to do, is identify your gifts. Now, we asked all those questions at the beginning because it's important. It's important that you take time, and I would encourage you to even fast. I would say, don't make a, don't throw darts at a dartboard at the beginning of the year. Be focused in your energy at the beginning of the year. Some of us may need to just take time in January to fast and go through a discovery process on how we are gifted. Here's a good scripture, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 4 through 7. He says this week in this week's manna, he says, Paul talks about how there are different gifts, but the same Spirit. They're different ministries, but the same Lord. There are different activities, but the same God that works through each person. There's diversity in the body of Christ. And here's how he does it. Here's the technology of the gift. Here's the godly technology of the gift. God literally manifests his spirit in each of us for the common good. What does that mean? That means that through your gifts, God actually shows people who you are, who He is through your gifts. Through your gifts, God literally introduces Himself to other people. That means that some people will only feel God, will see a certain aspect of God through your yes. By you saying yes, you're giving people the possibility to see God in a different way. He literally manifests his spirit, meaning your gifts, your commitment to doing things the way you've been supernaturally equipped to do them, equips you and equips other people to meet God like they've never met him before. Through your commitment, people will meet God like they've never met him before. 1 Corinthians 12:7 says, a manifestation of the Spirit was given to each person. For what? Not just for your own glory, not for your own branding and for your own edification, but so they can encounter God and the common good. In other words, the community of faith is uplifted by your commitment to embracing the gifts that are on your life. Your commitment to embracing the gifts on your life uplifts the entire community. Do you know that God has uniquely gifted you? God has uniquely manifested himself inside of you. That means when you choose to become a believer, that there are things that you are supernaturally equipped to do that no one else around you can do like you. Your gift is uniquely tailored to what he has called you to do. Here's what I don't want you to do. Here's what I don't want you to do. Don't miss your uniqueness and the beauty of your gift trying to emulate somebody else's. Did you hear what I just said? Don't miss your uniqueness trying to emulate someone else's gift. Your gift is uniquely tailored. It's uniquely tailored to fit who you are, because there is some aspect of God that people will encounter through the gift that's been placed inside of you. And some of us miss the opportunity because we have not learned to embrace our uniqueness. I know it's tough. I know it's challenging being gifted and unique, but you cannot do that. You cannot embrace God and without embracing all that God has for you, without embracing your uniqueness. That's the problem. Some of us have an anxiety that is centered on us trying to be something that we're not called to be. Did you hear what I just said? Some of us have a problem, have anxiety because we're trying to tailor fit some things that are not we're not called to fit in. You know, David, when he went to encounter Goliath, Saul tried to put his armor on David. David said, "No, man, I can't fit that. That's not how I'm going into battle. I took a slingshot and killed the lion and the bear, and with faith. And I'm gonna do the same thing here because my experiences have made me unique. And I'm going to embrace that uniqueness as I encounter the challenges that I may face in my life. Some of us can't overcome certain challenges is because we're encountering those challenges with the wrong armor. You trying to go into challenges like everybody else is going into it, and God says you are uniquely tailored. Your experiences have made you different, and you got to embrace that difference, because with that difference comes a grace to do the things and the gifts that he's placed inside of you. You got to, one, identify your gifts, and to do that you got to embrace your uniqueness. Second thing you got to do is you got to identify your capacity. Identify your capacity. Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 through 15, Jesus on the Mount of Olives is given the parable, and he talks about how there was the kingdom of God is like a man who goes on a journey, and he gives to his servants different talents. And to one servant, he gives 5 talents. To another servant, he gives 2 talents. To another servant, he gives 1 talent. Depending, here's the key. Here's the key in verse 15. It says, depending on each one's ability. That's what determined the type of talent that they got. Ooh. That means that the gifting The talents that was left with each servant was uniquely connected to their capacity. Mm. Here's a question I have for you. Have you ever asked yourself, what capacity do I have in this season of my life to give? Or are you just rushing into opportunities without assessing your capacity first? That's important because you may be burning out in a situation because you haven't adequately assessed your capacity. Did you hear what I just said? I said you may be burning out in a situation. You may be losing inspiration to give consistently because you haven't adequately assessed what capacity that you have to give in that season of in this season of your life or for that particular opportunity. He gave the talents according to their ability. That means that in this season, God has already predicted and understood what you could and couldn't handle. The worst thing that disobedience does is put us in things and places and in commitments that we weren't called to handle. Woo! Because you didn't take time to assess the level of what you were called to give. Maybe that is why you're losing focus and burning out. Child, I'll tell you right now, I've been there. I've been a part of commitments. I've been a part of things that look good. I thought was necessary for my pedigree. I thought that I had to go through it. I thought I had to do it. I thought I had to commit to it until God had to arrest me and say, I didn't call you and you don't have the capacity in this season to give at that level because that doesn't fit you. Baby, that doesn't fit you. And that's okay. You got to accept what things are not related to your capacity. You sometimes it takes away from the real things that God has called you to do in this season. Sometimes the enemy and the challenges that come are with are distractions. Sometimes overcommitment can be a distraction to your destiny. You got to accept the capacity and assess the capacity that you have to give. What does that look like? The question when you talk about capacity is where do I want to spend? Where has God called me in this season to spend the bulk of my energy? And is the return on my investment going to align me with the calling that God has placed on my life? Let me say that again. The prayer that should be prayed is where has God called me to spend the bulk of my energy in this season of my life? And is the return on my investment of my energy and my gifts going to align me with what God has called me to in this season of my life? You got to have that prayer. You got to have that time. Have you ever taken time to determine what type of service in your life in this season makes sense for you? Have you taken time to say what type of service is God calling me to give in this season? Have you taken time to figure out where you're called to serve in this season? You're not called to serve everywhere. And you ought to be careful around people who guilt tripped you into service opportunities that don't fit you. Did you hear what I just said? Don't let people guilt trip you into service opportunities that God has not called you to give in this season. I know. Everybody, you gotta serve. No, you have to serve, but you have to be smart around the where God has called you to serve in this season. There's this thing called willpower in the book called The One Thing. He talks about the book called One Thing. It talks about how multitasking is a lie. One of the things that stuck out to me in that book, The One Thing, I encourage everybody to get that book. The One Thing is that you have a willpower bank and that you have to really be cognizant of the amount of willpower and where your willpower is the highest. If your willpower is at the highest in the morning, then the author encourages you to spend the bulk of your energy doing the hard thing in the morning. If your willpower is in the evening time, the author encourages you to spend the bulk of your energy doing things in the evening time. What is he suggesting? Is that you have to be smart about where you serve because you only have a limited capacity to give all of what you have to a certain commitment. It is not realistic to believe that you're going to be able to give every commitment, every level of the capacity that you have to give. You have to ask yourself, where am I called to serve in this season? What makes sense? And here's the last question I want to ask in this section is, are you trying to make something fit that isn't unique to who you are? Let me start right there. Are you trying to make something fit? Or are you, I mean, have you been confused for 11 months of the year because of this commitment? Are you always, I mean, a good sign that this may not work for you is that you always upset about it. I mean, it just, you can't find no peace about it. Are you trying to make it fit? Are you trying to make a commitment fit in your life that isn't unique to who you are? Are you trying to make something fit that isn't unique? It's okay. And I just want to free you. Don't go into 2024 trying to make something fit that that God ain't called to fit in this season. Here's the principles. You have you have a grace to serve in your gift that is different from anyone else's. You're given a grace to serve in your gift that's different from anyone else's. Don't try to operate with gifts and service that you are not graced for. Mm. The worst thing you can do is try to do something that you don't have the capacity to do or and are not called to do. You may be experiencing anxiety around serving because you're doing something that God has not called you to do. And I want to give you permission to exit that situation as quick as possible because you're taken away from where God has actually called you to serve in this season. So you got to identify your gifts. Next part of the recipe, if you're gonna handle how to handle your gifts, is you got to identify your ability to produce. Ooh, you got to really be cognizant of how you are called to produce through your gift. Matthew 25, he continues in the parable. He talks about how the man with the 5 talents, he took it and he invested it and came back with double. The man with the 2 talents invested it and came back with and yielded a return on it. And God and the master came back and gave and said, because you have come back with something, because what I gave you, you didn't just sit on, because you didn't just sit on what I have. You didn't misuse what I have. You cultivated what I have. Because you've been faithful over a few things, I can trust you with more. And that's the principle, is that when you really understand your gifts and when you're really intentional about placing them in the right, investing your energy in the right places, God will honor that by giving you more. But here's the thing. You got to invest your giftedness and your time and your energy in things that will cultivate your gift and not take away from it. You got to be careful investing in your gift in things that cannot cultivate it. What I mean, cultivate it, grow. The return on your investment should be some level of growth. You should have accomplished something. You should have done something. You should have met somebody. You should have led to a bigger opportunity somewhere. There should have been something that let you know that the gift inside of you was being cultivated. But don't do like the third man. He got 1 talent and he went and buried his talent because of fear. Ooh, and I want to park right there. I want to park right there because I want to ask you this. Are you burying your talent because of fear? Are you burying, are you, when I say bury, I mean the man said he dug a hole and put the talent in the ground, meaning he hid his gift because of fear. Here's the question I want to start right there and say, are you allowing the things of this world to cause you to fear doing what God's called you to do? Are you allowing fear to stop you into doing what he's placed in your hands? Are you allowing people to cause you to think that you're not gifted? Child, don't bury your gift. Don't let fear cause you to hide what God has called to be put on display. Ooh, did you hear what I just said? I said, don't let fear cause you to hide what God has called you to put on display. If he's placed something inside of you, if he's called you to do something in this season of your life, if he's called you to be gifted in some aspect of your life, which he has, then how dare you hide it? Don't let people cause you to hide your gift. Here's the question. Here's the question I want to ask you. What are you going to do with what is in your hands? What are you doing with it? What are you doing with it? What are you doing with what's in your hands? How many more years are we going to go questioning and not moving on what's in your hands? God told me to tell somebody everything you need to do everything I've called you to do is in your hands. It's in your hands. And the only reason you haven't moved forward is because you're letting people's expectation produce a paralyzing fear in your life. Everything you need is in your hands. Everything you need for a successful 2024 is in your hands. Don't let people cause you to be paralyzed in your giftedness. Did you hear what I just said? Don't let people cause you to be paralyzed in your giftedness. Don't let people and don't let fear cause you to paralyze your potential. What does that mean, D? Every time you start talking about what you finna do and what God has called you to do, they negative. Or they tried that, they did that, and you find yourself mulling over your potential and you haven't even started on anything because you're letting fear cause you to stop. Hmm. Don't let paralysis related to fear cause you to paralyze your potential. Don't let them paralyze your productivity. Some of you started some amazing projects this year, but you let people in their logic and their facts and their what other people did and what they think you have the capacity to do and your overcommitments to cause you to paralyze your productivity. Some of you can't get across the finish line with your gifts because you're paralyzed because fear has caused you to stop producing. Don't let fear cause you to stop producing. I know it don't make sense, but stay consistent. I know you don't have all the answers, but do I'm telling myself in this season, I'm gonna stay consistent. I may not do it like everybody else do it. I may not have everything in place like I want it right now, but I'm gonna stay consistent. I'm gonna stay consistent. I may not I may not check every box like everybody else. It may not make sense. I may not be qualified to do this by some of y'all standard, but I'm gonna stay consistent. Because God doesn't reward the glitz and glamour of their talent. He rewards their consistency and faithfulness. Ooh, watch the text. Matthew 25 says, because you were faithful. Ooh, because you were faithful, not because you were the best, not because you were the most flashy, not because you were the loudest, not because you had all the technological tools, not because you had the right pedigree. He rewards both of those who cultivated their talents because of their faithfulness. That ought to tell you something. God says, I'll do the rest. I just want you to be faithful. I'll do the rest. I'll get the deep stuff. I will answer all the questions. I will answer all the naysayers. I will cover you in this next assignment. All I'm asking you to do in this season is be faithful with your service. Be faithful to do what I've called you to do in this season of your life. Don't let them paralyze your productivity. And don't let them paralyze your possibilities. Don't let fear paralyze your possibilities. He could have had double of what the master had given him, but he let fear cause him to feel like he had to hide it. And the possibility of cultivation was paralyzed because of his fear. Maybe God has something greater on the other side of this thing, and he's waiting on you to embrace it and say yes. Maybe the answer to your prayer is on the other side of the yes. And I'm saying that to myself. And I don't want y'all to think tonight that I got it all together because I don't. This is coming from my gut because I'm learning this right now. I've learned that God has a habit of blessing you with things you've been praying for when you say yes. And here's the challenge that he gave me, and I'll leave you with this. I was praying today about the yes. And God said to me very clearly, he said to me very clearly, he said, don't just tell me yes, show me your yes. Show me your yes. I dare you to put that in the comments. Show me your yes. Ooh, don't tell me your yes. Show me your yes. Show me your yes. And I'm gonna challenge you today. Don't tell God yes. Show him your yes. Show Peter, feed my sheep. Show me your yes. Show me your commitment. Show me your yes. Don't just tell me yes. Show me yes when it gets difficult. Show me yes when people talking about you. Show me yes when you don't get invited to certain rooms. Show me your yes when they hating on you. Show me your yes when it ain't you ain't got all the answers. Show me your yes when it hurts. Show me your yes when they doubt you. Show me your yes when they tell you you're not qualified. Show me your yes when you feel like you want to give up. Show me your yes when things don't go the way you plan. Show me your yes. On the other side of your yes, God is going to reward your faithful. He that is faithful over a few things, hello, can be ruler over many. I'm telling you tonight, don't let fear cause you to live in paralysis. You don't have to live the life that you can live better. You can be better. Show me. Hey, show me your yes. I'm getting happy. Show me your yes is what he told me. And I'm telling you tonight, don't tell God yes. Show him your yes and watch God do something amazing. In the little time we got left, I want to, you know how we end this thing, the to-go box. The to-go box. I want to ask you, what's in your to-go box tonight? Y'all put in the comments. What's one thing that you're leaving with tonight that was said that's going to stick with you this week? What's in your to-go box tonight? Tell me what's in your to-go box tonight. For me, I'm leaving with that. I'm leaving with I'm going to be consistent. I'm not going to let fear cause me to hide my gift no longer. I'm going to show God my yes. That's what's in my to-go box. I'm showing God my yes. What's in your to-go box? Y'all put in the comments. What's in y'all to-go box tonight? What's one thing that you are putting in that's stuck with you tonight that you're gonna labor with? I'm not. I refuse to go into another season of my life apologizing for what God has placed inside of me. What's in your to go box? Somebody said I'm gonna continue to show God my yes. Right, without paralysis. That's right. I'm gonna show God my yes. I don't care what they say about me. I'm gonna show them my yes. I'm gonna identify my gifts. I'm gonna make sure at the beginning of the year I'm not just putting random resolutions out. I'm gonna be consistent. I'm gonna understand the capacity I have to give in this season. I'm gonna really invest my energy in places that's gonna cultivate my gift and not take away from it. I'm gonna show God my yes. I'm gonna understand the capacity I have to give in this season. And I'm gonna invest my energy in environments that will cultivate me. I want to stay right there and leave you with that. Don't waste another year trying to justify places that are not cultivating who you're called to be. If by now they have not cultivated who you're called to be or invested or showed you in some way, maybe it's time to really pray. God has something special for you, but the enemy has a habit of of allowing and giving the distraction of overcommitment to take away from where God has called me to be, called you to be. Don't overcommit yourself in such a way that you miss where God has called you to serve in this season. I see y'all. I'm gonna show God my yes. That's right. I'm gonna show him my yes. I'm showing him my yes in 2024. I'm showing him. I ain't talking about it. I'm showing him. That's right. You're gonna be patient. Do what's right in this season. Yes. I'm gonna show him. Yes. Yes. We're gonna show God our yes in this season. Listen, I hope you enjoyed this tonight. No fear. There it is. No fear. No fear in 2024. No fear in 2024. That's right. No fear. We put no fear. No fear in our to go box. We can't put fear in our to go box in this season. Listen, I hope you enjoyed this tonight. As always, check in the Facebook group. I'm gonna put my show notes and the guides basically in the Facebook group where you can track along with the last series and look at kind of the principles. Is one thing to hear it, but it's another thing to see it. Also, make sure you're subscribed where you can get the devotional. We'll send out via email. And don't forget your 5. Y'all invite. Don't keep this to yourself. Share this with one of your gifted friends who's been struggling. When you're on the phone call and you hear somebody complaining or talking about they're struggling with commitment, send them this. If you have a friend that's ready to quit service and they're struggling to continue to serve, send them this. Send them this so they can be encouraged and not miss the manna and the opportunity and the harvest God has for them. Don't faint, child. Keep serving. Keep serving. All right. Love y'all. Thank you for rocking with me this week. And if the Lord says the same, we'll go one or two more weeks and then we'll take a break for the holiday season. I'm excited about this, and I'm excited about we're already planning 2024. Y'all are not ready for Monday Man on 2024. I'm telling you right now, y'all not ready. The guests that are coming, the space. This was just to break the ground. I just wanted to connect with y'all. Y'all like the exclusive crowd. Y'all can say I was there from the beginning. So I'm excited. Thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for rocking with our team. As always, connect with us. Share this with somebody who's ready to give up. And I believe that God is going to do something amazing through your gifts and who you're called to be. All right. Y'all be blessed. And I will see you in the Facebook group and next week. All right. Peace, peace.